My name is Anna Nicolaou, and I work at the Language Center of the Cyprus University of Technology. I teach English there, and I am also part of the coordinating team of the Learning Development Network, and it's very nice to meet you here.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Maria Victoria Sule, and I'm also a language instructor. I'm teaching Spanish at the Language Center of Cyprus University of Technology, where I also conduct research, and I participate in different research-funded programs as this one, as DC4LT. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you very much, Anna and Victoria. One moment to share my screen so you can all see what I see. Okay, I think. Okay, now you can see my screen. I would like also to introduce myself. I'm Maria Perifano, as I said. I'm technology and health learning expert, project manager and senior researcher at the Smart and Mobile Interactive Lab of the University of Macedonia in Thessaloniki, that is located in the northern part of Greece. I am also adjunct professor at Implied Linguistics at the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, the Department of Italian Language Studies, teaching Italia for academic purposes and other topics. And I also work as an adjunct academic staff at the Hellenic Open University in the Teaching English Master Program, teaching topics related to computer-assisted language learning. And I am teacher trainer in COL for the last 15 years. So following the introductions, I would like to continue with the outline of our training session today. Okay. As you see, the first part we will discuss about language teachers, training models, modes and approaches, analyzing briefly the theory, and then we will discuss about teaching methodologies in practice in COL. This will be mostly an interactive session. We will ask you also to contribute in this discussion. We have made some changes from the previous time. We think that it is good to have your voice, first of all. But before we start the discussion, we also wanted to have your feedback about your experience in this digital training. I don't know here if you have replied to our Google form here, but okay, let me open and see what we have so we can see your replies. Okay, this is our feedback, and this is our form. I don't know, I can share with you also the form here for those who didn't give us feedback so far. Okay, so let's see, we have some replies here. So this is mostly to see, okay, if you have, okay, what is your background? We can see here 60% come from university. Okay, 20% from secondary, middle primary school, and 20% self-employed. Which languages do you teach? We can see here English mostly and modern Greek. Okay, how many years have you worked? We can see here, okay, most of you have lots of experience. Okay, you have also participated in other training programs in digital literacy. Okay, so as we see here, quite okay. We have, you have experience from what we see here. This is very good because we would like also to discuss and share our experience together. Your training mode, your preferred training mode is as we see here, online distance, but also blended. Okay, these days it is difficult face-to-face, so you didn't choose it. Okay, In what level of digital literacy training would you be interested? 80% said for advanced level. So you are the 5 who responded. As I see your experience, this is why you also answered advanced level of training here. Okay, so what training experience did you have so far? Okay, we have one person here who attended also the DC4LT series. Nice to see you. So we have here.
Good morning, nice to see you too.
Good morning. We see here that, okay, Veronica learned also. I don't know if you're too, Veronica, the person who learned so much from the first series. I also like the nature of input, hands-on experiencing in workshops, very nice. We have here other experience training in teaching academic English with the use of learning technology, fully online, advanced level, 3 months. Wow, this is quite interesting. 3 months, quite good time to learn many things. 3 online asynchronous training seminars. Okay, 100 hours on Web 2, mobile device, safe internet. Wonderful, wonderful. Belly up technology enhanced learning. Okay, as your previous seminar, very nice. The university offers basic courses of distance learning methodologies, use of video chats. I also participate in call conferences. I do research myself. This is really wonderful as well, because I don't know if many universities offer this kind of training sessions, usually not. So having the possibility to do training offered by your university is quite a big opportunity. Okay, your preferred methodology in your technology enhanced learning. We see here that collaborative language learning was the most, let's say, successful here. Then we see also other game-based learning, content-based language learning, project-based language learning, task-based learning. Very nice. So more or less, you have used most of these technologies, methodologies. Describe the negative and positive aspects of the teaching methodologies that you prefer to use in your technology-based lesson. As you see here, let me see. I believe the above chosen are most appropriate in my teaching context, corporate training. Okay. They ensure engagement of the learner and exchange of ideas, and at the same time, they promote the 4 skills. Okay, so as so far only positive things. Okay, negative. Slow in network speed, lack of devices for students, lesson plan, preparation is time consuming. Positive, students' motivation, testing language, spelling, lacks objectivity. Okay, so, okay, technical problems, let's say. Okay, lack of infrastructure. Yes, this is a common, let's say, problem. That we face in classrooms. And of course, the preparation is time. Yes, it needs time to consume. It's time consuming, and it needs time to prepare everything when we do these digital lessons. But anyway, I think that if we have, if we know where to search for good resources, and if we plan at least. We start planning our lessons in this way. Slowly, we can get much more, how can I say, faster. Technical problems, it takes time to train. So to these new technologies, and sometimes there are glitches that we cannot even help them with. Yeah, that's true. New tools emerge all the time, and it's difficult to keep up with them, while the ones that used to be free in the beginning require payment a couple of years after using them. I totally agree with that. It's a problem that we have. So we always need to follow the new technologies, try to learn how to use them, and in some cases we are asked also to pay for them after a while, or they just don't exist after a while. After a couple of years, it happened that they stop working as well. I'm not always sure about the learning impact of all the technological tools. That's true, we don't know. On the positive side, as always, always enjoy using technological tools during class time. Wonderful. So thank you very much for your feedback. If you would like also the rest of you to give us more feedback about your background, it would be wonderful. So now we will start with a question, and we will ask you to provide us with your feedback, and then we will also give us our view, and we will have a discussion. So I will start with the first question here, that has to do with the first part, language teachers training, education and training model in language teachers education and call. For today, we are going to ask you to visit this, okay, our Padlet here. Okay, so we have here, one moment, I'm sharing with you the Padlet link. So you can join the Padlet. You don't need to register. If you want to register, you can do it, but it's not, let's say, obligatory. So we have a set of questions. The first one is, which are the basic challenges in language teachers education? And we give you 5 minutes to answer, and then we can discuss. Okay, so Nahmus, we started a few minutes ago. Okay, at least 15 minutes. So more or less, this is now we are in the beginning of our presentation. So please join us, join our Padlet, and you can add a comment here. So if you don't know how to add the comment, the only thing that you need to do is just to click on this, and you can just add a nice comment. This is what you will see. This is the space. So if, for those who haven't used Padlet before, okay, here you can write what you want to write, and then click publish, and you can publish your comment. This is how it is done. Okay, so Padlet gives us also the possibility to share different materials as well, a link, picture, files, and other. So the only thing that you need to do is just to write here your message and then to publish it. Okay, I see some faces here, so some people have already joined us. Okay, we need your answer, your replies only to the first question, this one, which are the basic challenges in language teachers education. So we can discuss about this first topic. Okay, we have teachers lack digital skills to work with digital natives, the learners of the 21st century. Okay, so the challenges in language teachers education is digital literacy. Okay, this is what we were discussing. Okay, this is what we need also. Teachers have, okay, face this problem because they need constantly Okay. To get training. Okay. Many teachers are resistant to change. Okay. So this is a challenge, a big challenge. So in order to persuade people, okay, our colleagues. Okay. I don't know, Anna and Victoria, you can also comment. What do you think about our replies
it's
here?
really interesting that some teachers are still resistant to change, even after all this time of online teaching and learning during the pandemic, and when everybody had to teach online anyway. But it's true that there are still some practitioners that are very reluctant to use technology. I don't know if it's technophobia or something else, or lack of resources or lack of training. But it's true, and we all witness that in our context.
You are absolutely right. So let's see, many teachers are resistant to change. This training needs to be done regularly and systematically. I totally agree with that. In the context of higher education, one challenge is that we serve two masters, academic language and communicative language, and teachers are not given tools to balance these two. Okay, academic language and communicative language. Okay. Okay, this is a challenge. Okay. Okay. One challenge is to divide proper time for every student when the class has 8-10 students. Okay. So it is also a problem when we have, okay, if you have 8 and 10 students, it is not a problem. The problem is what is happening when you have, 100 students, as it happens to university in our classrooms, and this is a quite a big challenge, and you need to design and to deliver, let's say, an interactive session, because we have to we need to say here that language teaching is really connected to interactive sessions and to highly interactive online environments, and it is not so easy to handle a big audience, and this is quite a challenge that technology really helps us in that case, with using, for example, some applications like Kahoot, for example, when you want to play a game, for example, with the whole classroom with many students. This kind of application are really, helping, and you can make audiences of this kind of audience is very interactive. We see here digital literacy that teachers lack, student engagement, ensuring a variety of tasks that are different for face-to-face teaching. Very nice. Provided that English foreign language teachers are equipped with necessary digital skills, the English foreign language curriculum does not incorporate the digital shift. Absolutely, it is outdated. I totally agree. Also, materials that we have, they should be updated as well, because there is a curriculum that in many cases it is in schools most of the time it doesn't change, so they need to update curriculum in order to keep pace with all these technological advances. Balancing between educating and entertaining. Oh, that's wonderful. What do you think, ladies? You can also, if you want, you can speak also, Mikhail, and you can also give us, if you want, your opinion about the feedback.
I want just, Maria, just to remind the participants that we are now working on question 1, and we will move forward to the next question during the webinar, as Maria said at the beginning.
Thank you, Victoria. So balancing between educating and entertaining, do you like it as an idea? This is my motto, right? This is what I usually say to my students. So we come here to have a good time. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense to just to be together and do a boring job. It is good to work all together and try to have a good time and try to have nice activities and to enjoy our time together, because it's a long time during the semester and the year. Okay, so thank you very much for your feedback. So we have also here we have here some answers to you. Okay, it's those are based on literature review, most of these replies. So as you see here, there are things that you have also shared with us. Teacher educators should train language teachers to connect theory to practice, be ready for classroom realities. Oh, that's difficult. Be able to adapt their skills and knowledge to different contexts, classroom and professional demands, reflect on the subject matter and the thoughtful application of particular teaching strategies, reflect on their learners' understandings, interests, and developmental thinking, be flexible and creative in their decision-making processes, reflecting upon their own teaching situation and their learners' actual needs. This is very important to do, and I don't know how feasible it is. It is feasible for, as I said, for audiences, for a classroom with not so many students, but with bigger classrooms at the university, it is quite a challenge, this one. So we need also to sometimes at least at the beginning, to explore a little bit the needs of our students, and also to ask them what topics and what activities they would like to have during their lessons. So it is good to hear what they want from us, and we should adapt our schedule, our program based on the needs and the interests of our students. And other challenges become more reflective practitioners, be able to make the right decisions about the suitable teaching methods and models for them and their students, improve their own command of the language so that they can use it more fluently and above all more confidently in the classroom, be expertise in curricular design and its implementation and application of technology, develop collaboration skills among trainees. Also, this is quite important, that it's important also. One other thing that I would like to add here, for me, I think it's a big challenge in language teachers' education is also to be constantly connected, let's say, to be part of a community, to be connected with other teachers who are working in the same contexts, in order to help each other, to support, because when you have a support from colleagues, it's always much more easier to work and to be creative and to give the most of what you have. So let's go to the second question that we have. Which are the teachers training models applied in language teachers education that you know? So what we want is models. So those of you who had also expertise in teachers training, so probably you know one training model at least. So here, let's see what we have. We are using the same environment, our Padlet. So teachers training models applied in language teachers education, face-to-face Zoom. Okay, here before the pandemic, it was short adult education courses. During the pandemic emergency, basic training about Zoom, LMS, and all in Zoom. Okay. So you will see there are plenty of models that are applied, and basically in these models, we could say that you can embed different kind of technological support. So the good thing is that we have a big variety. That's good. Okay, let's see. Hybrid or blended learning model. Okay, very nice. I think also that yes, this kind of training is also very, very, very helpful. And I have also explored this in the context of my PhD, the blended learning model. And it is, I think, it had very good results, because I have worked, for example, with language teachers from the University of Athens, the Capodician University of Athens, and Spanish language teachers. And it was wonderful to see that we had only one session, face-to-face session for 3 hours every week. But for the whole week, we had an online environment with many different tools there. It was a wiki-based environment, this one, years ago. But we had, I have organized many different and very, very interesting, I think, activities based on their interest. It was all, they were designed based on their interest. And those extra hours that were many, it was calculated something like, in the end, like more than 300 hours spent in this environment and in our sessions. So it was a very good, let's say, training time. Okay, let's see. I don't know, Victoria, Anna, if you want to comment here. Anything?
Maria, I think from my side, you have summarized it very well, the responses from the participants.
Okay, let's see here. So here we have, as you see, different teachers training models applied in language teacher education according to literature. So maybe you have heard, maybe not, but it is good to explore and see. Apprentice expert model, a rationalist model, case studies model, integrative model, reflective model, craft model, applied science model, erotil model, a coactive model. So those are teachers training models, not only we say here and applied in language teachers education, but can be applied also in other contexts for other teachers. So from what I remember, Anna, you have experts. You know more about one of these models, as you told me. You have applied this in your PhD, if I do remember well, the reflective model. So we give also here an example, so you can see what it is, a model here, and how we can, let's say, represented, yes, because all these models have also this process represented in a diagram. So in that case, we see the reflective model is an alternative model of teacher education, which allows trainees to construct their own teaching theory. And within, as you see here, within person factors that are present and at entry into teacher training and practice, the active engagement we can see here, we have learning opportunities are not just dependent on the quality of the opportunities, but are also influenced by the characteristic of the individuals to whom the opportunity is presented. As we see here, we have we receive knowledge, previous experience knowledge, and then we go. The next phase we try to mix practice and reflect on that. And then in the end, we have the professional competence. So we construct our teaching based on theory and practice, but we also exploit previous experience and the knowledge coming from the research. So this is one. In our Google Classroom, we have a presentation with all these. We have more slides, and we analyze all the models that we have shown you before. So you can also explore our presentation on Google Classroom. So if you want to find out more about other models. So I continue with the next question, which are the blended hybrid teachers training models that you know. And let's see here what we have some replies. Flipped classroom, says Katerina, but never applied it in class. Okay. Padlet. Okay. Flipped classroom, but hesitant to apply. Okay. The hesitation is because you're not allowed. You think that your students are not, let's say, they will not like it. Why are you hesitant with this? Okay, I don't see any replies. But anyway, flipped classroom means that you will have to, in fact, to invite your students to study first, and then to come and to have the discussion. So this is quite okay. I think it is interesting, but it depends on also on the age of the students that we have. So in my case at the university, I do it often because since we have only, let's say, 3-hour sessions, 3.5 hours usually, it's quite interesting to give students before something to work with, and then to try to do more practical things instead of organizing just a boring lecture where someone is talking and the other just listening. So if you want to have this kind of classrooms more engaged, this is a very good idea, the flipped classroom.
I think that this hesitation could probably be due to the fact that a flipped classroom needs some kind of self-direction and autonomy from the part of the learners. Mm-hmm. And as you said, if you're dealing with older students, perhaps they have developed this level of independence, and they can do some work without having the teacher guiding them through. But maybe with younger learners, it's harder to apply this model. I don't know if the colleagues here would like to explain to us what the kinds of barriers they are facing in implementing this interesting approach. But it could be due to the level of autonomy that is required.
I totally agree with you. It depends also on the material, isn't it? That you give them to prepare. I mean, so for example, I don't know, probably you may do it, but in our teaching context, a few times we also give our students, we say, for example, you can watch a film and you can come and we can all discuss about the film, or sometimes we work with some novels, for example, and we say, let's read for next time the first chapter of this interesting novel, and then we come all together and work on that. So in a way, okay, it is not hard flipped classroom. They are invited to do something that it is really, I think, motivating and nice. But you are working on a common floor, let's say.
And the students are mostly used to getting homework, to the things to do in class after a lesson rather than before. So this is kind of a traditional way of doing things so far.
Anna says that, Katerina says that agree with you, Anna, regarding applying flipped classroom to young learners. Yes, probably it is not so easy, but yes, maybe if we think about activities, let's say, or material that will be more motivating and challenging, as I said before, like a movie or whatever. Okay. Yes, this is what is happening usually, but not all of the students are prepared. But yes, okay, they're not prepared, but you have you have a base to work with. You can start with the contribution of your students, so it's something good, I think, even though it is difficult sometimes. But again, we always discuss about the nature of our classes and the number of the students, and also the context. So all these things are different. So we need to adapt to adapt our lessons to the needs and to what we have. So let's see what we have here as an answer for you. Okay. So more or less, we have seen some things of, we have discussed flipped classroom that you'll know. So this is a list of training models. We call it teachers training model, but this can apply here, this list also for training in other contexts as well. We have the face-to-face driver model. In this case, as you see here, most training happens in classrooms, setting under instructor guidance. Online resources are used as a supplemental tool, and reinforcement of face-to-face instruction. And we have also individual support of high performance in those who are failing behind. In any case, face-to-face driver model is the one that it is the most common one. And resources online resources are always helpful. Flipped classroom, as we discussed before, online learning, offline application. Okay, efficient time use we see here, and encourages learners to put knowledge into practice. That is what we usually have in mind, to encourage learners to put knowledge into practice. This is something that we apply, as I said, in wider audiences, let's say with many students, especially in the context of the university. The rotation model is the rotation model, as we see here, it is also this blended model that we said. So learners move between face-to-face instruction. So when you blend, then they have a group work, and they have also they do online learning. So needs to be thoroughly scheduled and works for different needs and learning styles. More or less, this is what I have done also in my research. So when you have the face-to-face, let's say, session, you try to work and to organize group work. And then during the online learning, students are autonomous, but you give them also tools to work in groups as well. So you can provide either autonomous activities or collaborative activities. So this is quite challenging, but I think that in the end, this is really interesting, and people really enjoy doing this. And from my experience so far, I have seen that when they work in collaboration, they can do miracles. This is what I see. So I totally recommend collaborative activities, totally, either on face-to-face or online. And the totally online driver model, all training is delivered via a digital platform, online instructor-led training and consultation. So we have everything online. We have an instructor, a trainer, but also in this case, we can organize at least one physical meeting. It can happen, for example, one per week. And this is something that, or one per month. It has to do mostly with the time of this training program. But usually the official, those that we have, for example, the training programs offered by the state, usually in that case, we have one per month. We have different online activities and all online activities that are collaborative and autonomous during the entire month. And then one time during the weekend, we have, for example, 6 hours of face-to-face training session. This is how we do it usually. And this can be a training course for a semester. And I think that it is good because you also have the possibility to meet the other person. And here in Greece, usually we have these face-to-face sessions in some universities. So all the people who attend the training program from the northern part of Greece, they usually come to Thessaloniki, or in the south, they go to university, for example, in Athens. But it is good to have this face-to-face session as well, because you meet the people, and generally this collaboration can become even better when you meet in person the other colleagues. So let's continue. I think we have our next one. Which are the challenges in cold teachers education? Let's see here what we can have. Okay, Katerina says limited digital literacy, and another colleague, lack of digital tools. Okay, here we can have, yes, a big list, I think, of the challenges in cold teachers education. I don't know, Anna and Maria Victoria in Cyprus, what kind of problems do you have with yes, the challenges usually are the problems to overcome. What What is happening in your situation, in your reality?
I think it's this resistance that we mentioned earlier about adopting new technologies, and the fact that some teachers do not really want to make any changes in their approaches. And I think that maybe lack of training is a problem. All these technologies are new and constantly changing and emerging, and you need to involve teachers in continuous training activities so that they feel confident to make these changes. So I think that this is something that we need to address, and we are trying to address through this webinar series that we are running within the DC4LT project. So in some contexts, there is a lack of infrastructure, mostly in primary or secondary education. At university, where I think we're doing okay in that part. But it's mostly these kind of challenges. Victoria?
Yes, I agree with Anna that, one thing is the lack of training. And as Anna said, the constant update of the new technologies. Another thing that Anna mentioned is that not at higher education, but we, at least Anna and I, we should not forget that we are working at a technology university. And we have all this infrastructure. I'm not sure whether other universities, which are not technological orientated, provide their, let's say, their educators, their instructors with not only the infrastructure, but also the training, because they have other priorities. So in this line, yes.
Thank you, ladies. Yes, what you said is true. I don't know, from my discussion here in Greece with other colleagues that work also in public schools, not only universities. Yes, the problem is also the infrastructure, because in some cases we see that there are schools that are very well equipped, and in other cases they're teachers who don't have, let's say, that they're not so trained and they don't have the digital skills. But in other cases, they are teachers that are very well trained, and they know and they can do miracles. But the school lacks the infrastructure. So I remember one case where one of the teachers who attended one of the training course that I have delivered 2 years ago. She was really talented with technologies, and she was working in a school in the south of Greece, in Peloponnesus. And she said, I will try to change these things, the situation in my school. I want to help my students. She was an English language teacher. So what she did was to try to find money for her school. And she asked money from an organization. And she said that she tried to show her profile. So I'm capable, I have this, I have done these studies, I have this training expertise and all that. And they believed in her, and they gave her money, and she made a wonderful, let's say, lab for her students, for the school. And it was ready only during a month. Only they had a break for Easter, and she has presented what they have done, the lab at the school, because she has in fact found, let's say, money. It was from what the beneficiaries was I think, a bank and another organization. But the point is that you can make some changes if you really want it. This is what I want to say. So if you have the faith in what you believe, you can make some changes. And this is a very good example of someone who believed in this. So here, based on the literature, we have some challenges. Okay, one moment. Okay, so, okay. I think the first one is more or less the same that we had previously, and what is changes about teachers, educators in call, they could assess the potential, they should assess the potential and limits of technologies for language and cultural learning, carry out a need analysis to introduce adequate technologies at appropriate moments in the pedagogical sequence, handle basic tools and applications and solve simple technical problems, design appropriate tasks, design for interaction within and outside the classroom in view of the technology's affordances, manage time and optimize the integration of technologies. Okay, this is quite, we have many challenges here. So also the management of time and in order to integrate the technology is also a big challenge. And if we think that we have to keep in mind that there is a curriculum that we need to follow in some cases, like in schools, this is also something that it is difficult to combine. Okay. Which are the models for call teachers education that you know? So this is the last question from me. Okay. Models. So this is, let's see here. Okay. We are here. Any ideas about models? Okay. So probably, okay, those are probably you have heard about some models, probably what we all commented before about blended learning. It's about blended training as well, this kind of models. Let's see here. Katerina says flipped, rotation, self-paced, face-to-face. Yes, in a way, they can be like this. They can be also combined. Okay, what we mean as model is when we take, let's say, a mode and different approaches, and we can blend them. So what I have described before, like training that takes place online, for example, but also in face-to-face, and the methodologies that you apply during the face-to-face sessions or the online sessions, all of this can be represented in a model. So this is what we call model. When you can integrate and in a diagram, also the modes and the methodologies. So we can, I don't know if you have any comments on that. Okay, Anna or Maria Victoria, do you want to say something about? You also have, for example, you deliver a master course in call. So in fact, it is a teacher's education in call. And the model that you use, it is totally, I think it is totally online, or I'm wrong, I don't know.
Yes, we have this master's in computer-assisted language learning, which is totally online. It's been totally online before the pandemic. It was designed to be delivered fully online. So far it has been working well with all these technologies that we mentioned earlier that we do have at the university. And the students really like this approach of being independent and working at their own pace, because most of them are practicing teachers and they are very busy. We all know how busy teachers are with their teaching obligations and preparation, marking, and everything. So this kind of approach and model is suitable for practitioners who are already on the job. So the experience has been good so far.
That's nice. The only thing that I remember that it was different, I think that only for the exams, I don't know, am I wrong? I do remember well.
Yes, we used to have exams on site. But this changed during the time of lockdown. The body that approves master programs here in Cyprus accepted alternative methods. And it's been kept like that since then. I don't know if this will change, but this has already been accepted as an alternative way of assessment. So I think that we will keep this this year, that we also went back to face-to-face teaching. But a good start was made. You see that sometimes all these difficult situations we went through, something good might turn out of all these problems. Because we managed to do the exams online as well. We have students from different parts of the world, from Brazil, from
that's wonderful,
China, and it was really hard for them to organize an in-person assessment procedure. So this came really handy.
Wonderful. I didn't know, but I didn't know all the details. And the assessment is, do you have quizzes, also interviews?
We have quizzes and open questions, and it's basically open book examinations.
Okay.
It's not based on learning things by heart, but it's applying the knowledge in specific scenarios and case studies. And we have a lot of students from Greece, Maria. And
that's good.
And it's good to share here that recently our master's program has been accredited by the Greek body for accrediting.
Congratulations. I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, so this is really great news.
That's good for us, because we are looking for, this kind of, let's say, training, and our teachers will be happy to know.
So spread the word.
Of course.
Thank you.
I thank you. So let's see what we have as a reply here. So here, as you see, we have 3 different models for called teachers education. As I said, there are more, but those are some that we have selected. One of them is from Raiders 2009. The call teachers education, which is what teachers precisely need to learn, a tool for needs analysis. And you can just, if you like, you can see also and explore literature on that. The other, it is the collaborative blended language learning model that I have designed for my PhD and the context of my PhD, where I have done what I have told you before, a blend of blending face-to-face training meetings with online meetings. But during our sessions, we were all working on WebQuest 2 collaborative projects that took place online. So there was an online space where we have I have organized different collaborative activities during the whole semester. I think that it worked perfectly, and I really enjoyed, and I really like that I helped also students to learn about that, and now to become really let's say competent in digital technologies. The TPAC model is also the technological pedagogical content knowledge framework is also very well known, and you can have also look at that if you have an interest in this, as it gives a holistic perspective of the knowledge associated with effectively integrating technology into learning environments and counting for what teachers know and what teachers do. In fact, all these models, as I said, they are represented in a diagram. So, for example, this is mine. This is what I have done here. So you can see that face-to-face is here, blended learning is here, and online learning. And you can see that there is a blended component from one side, a collaborative and personal learning from another side. And this all makes this collaborative blended language learning model with WebQuest 2 activities. But for all these different models, there is also, analytical description, how they have how the training is organized, what activities are, let's say, can be integrated. So if you have an interest in this, you can explore a little bit the literature. And we have also in the end some references that we are recommending. So let's continue with the second part. And Anna and Victoria will discuss about co-teaching methodologies and practices and sharing experiences. So we have the first question, is this one.
Thank you, Maria. So yes, we're now moving to the second part, which is quite brief, actually, and it's looking at different core methodologies and how this can be applied in different pedagogical practices. So in this project, we're trying to empower language teachers to build on their knowledge in using technology, integrating technology, so as to empower their own learners. But the ultimate objective is to teach the language, of course, this second language teaching. Along with that, from your experience as practitioners or in research, what skills other than linguistic can teachers help their learners develop through contemporary teaching methodologies and practices? I see that we have some responses already. So Katerina mentions collaboration, time management, communication, creativity, patience, technological skills. The list is quite endless, and I would agree with you here, Katerina. There are so many skills that can be developed in language teaching. Sometimes teachers design an activity not having the linguistic benefits in mind per se, but aiming at developing other competences as well that are very useful in the 21st century. We have digital skills, soft skills, which have been covered in some of the competences that Katerina typed in earlier. I don't know if there is another answer below. I think that's the last post. Is there anything else that you're trying to address in your language? Any other skill that you aim at developing along with the linguistic competencies? So we have these frameworks that have come out that emphasize multi-literacies development, such as global competencies or 21st century skills, intercultural competences. There are many frameworks that are now directed towards a multi-literacies approach. So in this project, Maria, if you can go back to the slides, we are trying to explore current teaching methodologies and practices that will empower teachers to build their own digital skills, and in effect, they will also be empowered to enhance their learners' active learning, collaboration that we mentioned earlier, autonomy, communication skills, as well as intercultural competence and more social, let's say, skills that are related to global and active citizenship. So we are not looking at language as the end goal anymore, but it's basically the tool to achieve other goals along with the linguistic ones, of course. And I think that we are ready to move to the last question, or last but one. Oh yes, that's question number 7. So which teaching methodologies and practices do you use in your teaching? Have you used in the past, are currently using, or you would like to use in the future? We have game and problem-based, cooperation, collaboration, communicative, audios and videos, and what's the last one? TPR, that's the acronym for, missing that.
Inquiry-based.
Inquiry-based, TPR, could Katerina explain the acronym there? That's total physical response. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Any other approaches that you find interesting and useful to use in class? We have a list that we'll show on the next slide, but before that, let's see if there are any other methods and practices that you use. These are basically some of the key methods that teachers use in their classrooms. Mm-hmm. Perhaps we can show the slide to see some of the rest that we have on our presentation. So you have mentioned inquiry-based learning. It's really useful as it places the emphasis on the learner that rather than the teacher. It's a very student-centered approach. The students are responsible for making questions, discovering knowledge. Then project-based learning that requires learners to work on an extended project, most of the times collaboratively, trying to follow the different steps towards discovery of knowledge, or addressing a challenge, or solving a problem, and then presenting it in an open and shareable artifact. Collaborative learning, I think it's something that we all agree how useful it is, having students working together, producing shared outputs, and also collaborating with the teacher. So the students are not alone in this process. There is this teacher's collaboration as well. Task-based learning that is designed around the completion of tasks. Game-based learning, which combines, which includes a gameplay approach, making the class more interesting, more fun. I think that we mentioned this element at the beginning, that students want to be having fun in the class and be entertained while learning. And problem-based learning, which is very useful for the 21st century learner, having to address a real-life problem or an ill-structured scenario, working together following different steps, first of all, to understand the problem, to deconstruct it, to think about different alternatives, and finally select the most suitable solution. This activity is very useful in developing all sorts of skills that were mentioned earlier: autonomy, collaboration, taking responsibility, critical thinking, and many others. And some teaching practices that may apply a mix of those teaching methodologies are web quests, which is an inquiry-based activity when the student needs to, again, answer a problem or solve a challenge or find answers to questions, and all this happens on the web. Virtual exchange or telecollaboration, which is a practice that uses different technologies to bring people together, students together from different cultures, building the students' linguistic but also intercultural competences. And then we have the more emerging practices such as VR games and immersive technologies that combine the physical and the virtual world in the activities. Some of these methods and practices will be analyzed and presented in the workshops that we have in this webinar series today and in the following days throughout the week. So I think that we are now move on to the last question, and my colleague Victoria will guide this session.
Thank you, Anna. We will finalize with this last question, which is not actually a question. We are asking you to share your favorite teaching methodology and practice in COL. And again, if you can post it there in the Padlet that we were working before, is the last one. We already have one answer from Katerina. As she mentioned in the previous question, she likes to work with game-based and the total physical response. And an anonymous wrote project-based learning. I don't know if some of you have more experience that you would like to share in the line of what Anna just mentioned, for example, collaborative learning or task-based learning, inquiry-based learning, and so on. Okay, there is one more question below, which is role-playing games. Okay, that is also a good approach. Okay, so if we move back, Maria, please, to the slides. Let me briefly describe one teaching methodology and practice, which is problem-based learning. Okay, we have more comments from Najmus in the chat. So problem-based learning, as you probably know, is a type of a student-centered educational approach where students learn a topic via their experience in solving open-ended problems. In problem, sorry, Maria, can you go back, please?
Okay.
Thank you. In problem-based learning, important are the elements of active, interactive, and collaborative learning, which are incorporated to allow teachers to observe their students' learning process. And according to Sevilla Pavón, there are 3 phases that I will illustrate with an example of one of my classes. A problem is introduced to the students, and then students need to find and analyze information from different sources. And then finally, students come to the problem and try to solve it by applying the autonomously acquired knowledge. So if we move to the next, thank you, Maria. I will here we have an example of one of my classes. As I said in the introduction, I'm a Spanish instructor. So this task we call it the Erasmus experience, from the airport to renting a shared flat. So Erasmus students from Cyprus need to prepare for this experience, and we provided them with a scenario. And the first scenario for all these tasks is that the students arrive at Madrid Barajas Airport, and students need to find and analyze information from different sources, real material, trying to use real material, in order to arrive at the city center with public transport. So in this case, we provide the students with the website of the Aeropuerto Madrid Barajas, the airport, and the students need to choose public transport, okay? And they need to find out how to arrive. If, for example, they take the metro, in which station do they need to get down, and so on, and always taking into account the linguistic aspect. Okay, of course. Okay, so the next slide, Maria, please. So in the next scenario, we continue with the Erasmus experience. The students have arrived to the city center of Madrid, which is Puerta del Sol, and students first, they need to look for a hotel. We provide them the booking.com website in Spanish. All the information has to be in Spanish because they are learning Spanish. Once they have decided where to go, with Google Maps, they need to find where this hotel is. It has to be nearby, so they can use instructions of turn right, turn left, go ahead, and so on. And finally, Maria, the next slide, please. And finally, of course, this is not all in one class, okay? This is taking different classes to achieve this. Finally, students work collaboratively to find a flat to be shared by them, okay? They cannot stay the whole length of their study abroad experience in a hotel. So they need to find a flat to rent and to share. Again, we provide to them a Spanish website. And this will enhance the teamwork, the independent learning, and their communication skills. So this is an example of problem-based learning, of how I apply this in my classes. So we've moved now to the conclusions of this webinar. As we said while we were discussing, particularly Anna said this, technology is rapidly changing, and the technologies that are prominent in today's language classroom might be considered outdated in a few years. So that's why we suggest training workshops to place emphasis on transferable skills and practices that can be applied to achieve a specific learning outcome, rather than on the innovation of a specific technology. The successful design of a training workshop depends on grounding the use of technologies on specific theoretical and methodological aspirations. And the teaching and learning culture is expected to evolve only if teaching practices are updated bottom-up rather than top-down due to technological advancements. So Maria and Anna, I don't know if you want to add something to this conclusion.
I think that uncovered, Victoria, from the way you've presented the concluding remarks, and it's basically a summary of what we mentioned earlier in this webinar, and along with our participants' input in the chat and in the Padlet.
Yes, I also agree with Anna, more or less. This is what we all agreed on, is that technology is rapidly changing, as we said here, and we really need to, yes, to target to what we say continuous teachers development on call. And this can happen, yes, mostly by, I recommend by being a member of a community of teachers who are working on this domain, let's say. And this is how things should be, to work together and to share experiences. So it was really nice, the activity that you just presented before, and it is something that I can also introduce in my classroom. So thank you very much. We have here a question about from Katerina. What do you mean by saying teaching practices should update bottom up? So it has to do with, I don't know if Anna, it is addressed to you, the question.
I think it's we can all answer that. We mean that these changes should come from the teachers and their needs, and from the learning outcomes, rather than from the top, from the authorities or from the ministry, or from the technological tools that are coming out. So it should, it's the pedagogy and the pedagogical goals that should be guiding this teaching and learning culture, rather than the tools and technologies that are so much abundant in the contexts that we are teaching in.
This is also, we could say that this is how it should be done. Shouldn't be the process, because usually, but we see now that let's say the designers and the teachers are working together. So they try more or less to explore what are the needs of teachers before they design a new technology. And this should be the way, and not just to take, let's say, technology and try to implement it in a classroom without having any need of this technology. So it's just a tool to facilitate our work, to address all the linguistic and intercultural skills of our needs of our students. So this is what, okay. This is what we say, and this is how the things should be done. We have here some questions I see in the chat also. Okay, about you asked us about certification.
Yes.
So yes, we will yes, give you certifications as long as you you are in our community, you participate, of course. We will not count how many webinars you have, let's say, attended, but more or less, if we see that you are a part of our community and you, let's say, have participated, yes, it can be on Discord, it can be on our webinars, but most of all, if we see that you are active participants, of course, we will provide a certificate. So
about the comment on Hannah's comment, thank you very much for your comment. We're trying in this project, we're trying to reach a wide range of teacher trainers, an international audience, let's say. And of course, it's not easy to know what each and every teacher knows and what they would like to learn. That is why we administer the surveys to guide us in the design of this series of webinars, and we're trying to address different needs in different contexts. I hope we have managed to do that in the series of webinars. Thank you for coming anyway.
Thank you for coming, and in order to to organize it even better next time, here I am, we have also in our Google Classroom a Google form that in which we would like to, one moment, I would like also to show you also how you will work on that. So this is our session. This is the first session that we have. Here you can find all the information, and here also we recommend also, this is why I wanted to open it. We have here a publication about all these things that we have discussed with you today. It's about training methodologies and call, and I think you will find it interesting. And here it is our pre-activity, the questionnaire that we have invited you before to fill in. The slides that we have here are the slides that are full slides, not the one that it is. You will find more enriched material in our slides. And here it is the post-evaluation. So we would like you to provide us some, let's say, feedback regarding our webinar today. It is here. I'm sharing it with you. Okay. So we can close our first session. Thank you very much for coming to the first session. We hope we see you also in our next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much.
Bye, everyone.
And see you in a while.
Thank you. Bye-bye.